3,300 lumens for $1,800. That's the first thing that I want you to know about the BenQ TK860i. And that could really be important if you're thinking about making the move from a TV to a home theater projector, but just can't justify some of the outrageous prices on the market. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rob, and today is all about the TK860i, a 4K DLP projector that promises enough light output to enjoy HDR content even in bright rooms with color performance to match. So in this video, we'll be doing a full test and demo of the projector to find out the good, the bad, if any, and everything else in between. Inside the box, you'll find everything you'll need in order to get started. A manual, a power cord, a nice little backlit remote that has a microphone for Google Assistant, an Android TV streaming stick to provide all smart features, and of course you get the projector itself, which is actually really compact in size, measuring in at only 15 by 5 by 10 inches and weighing less than 10 pounds. And I have to say, I really like the way this projector looks. It's clean, simple, and I think it fit well in most environments. But for me personally, I would have liked to have seen it available in black for people who would be putting this in more of a light-controlled environment or even a totally blacked-out home theater setup. On the back, the BenQ projector has 3 HDMI 2.0B ports that can accept up to 4K at 60 Hz, one of which is an HDMI ARC port. It also has 2 USB ports for connecting fiber optic cables and a pair of audio outputs, including a 3.5mm and a Toslink, in case you want to connect the projector to a larger sound system. And as we mentioned, this projector comes with a streaming stick, the BenQ QS02. And the really cool thing about this stick is it can be installed inside of the projector and it won't take up an extra HDMI or USB port on the back. To do this, all you have to do is remove these 2 screws on either side of the projector towards the front. Once the screws are removed, you can slide the top panel off. Inside the projector, you'll see another HDMI port and a USB power cord for the streaming stick. Connect the streaming stick to the HDMI port and power it using the USB power cord. Once the streaming stick is connected and powered on, you can start streaming content from your favorite apps. Moving on, here's a quick look at the Android TV 10 interface. You can see here it actually does support all of the regular apps like Netflix, which wasn't actually available on the older BenQ GP500 and its QS01 streaming stick. So this is a pretty nice little upgrade. And that's going to lead us to the topic of remotes. And the TK860i actually ships with 2 different versions in the box. A small remote that's just for the Android TV stick, and a larger one that controls both the projector and the Android TV stick. They're both pretty nice, but we like the combo remote the best, since it has a nice backlight and feels great in the hand. Though we wish the lighting would stay on for just a little longer after hitting a button. On the bottom of the projector, BenQ also included these 3 M4 mounting holes, which are compatible with universal projector mounts, like this one from BenQ, which we bought on Amazon for $59, and seems to be really well built with lots of adjustment range, so it should work well in most situations. There are also a lot of features here that aren't exactly obvious from the outside. The TK860i is a true 4K DLP projector, meaning it produces a full 8.3 million pixels on the screen, but it achieves that by using a single 0.47-inch 1920 by 1080 DMD chip, which is shifted 4 times to get the full 4K resolution. This is pretty common for most DLP projectors around this price range, but at the end of the day, it's still not native 4K, which is usually reserved for much more expensive projectors. BenQ also claims a 10-bit color depth and 98% coverage of the Rec 709 color gamut, which isn't bad considering the brightness and the fact that they're using a color wheel. They also include things like their own HDR Pro local contrast enhancement, which is supposed to improve the perceived contrast across 1,000 different zones on the screen. We also have a regular projector bulb giving us that 3,300 lumen rating rather than an LED light source like the GP500, which we reviewed previously. But BenQ does promise 4,000 hours of lamp life in regular mode and up to 10,000 hours in eco mode, which is pretty good for a traditional lamp-based projector. The TK860i also uses a high-quality 10-element 8-group lens array, which is set up in a short to medium throw configuration, so you can actually get a pretty decent-sized screen without having a massive room. Right now we're about 12.5 feet away from our screen, and we're getting a full 120-inch image at the minimum zoom level, which means that there's a lot of room to go bigger if we wanted to in the future. Aside from that, it also has a few other cool features like the built-in Trevolo speakers, which sounded remarkably good considering their size. And another thing that you might have noticed on the top here, there's actually a vertical lens shift knob that will let you adjust the image up or down by 10% to match perfectly with your screen, which can be very useful if you're not able to position it perfectly in your room. And that's pretty much it for the specs and features. So now it's time to hook this projector up and see what it can actually do. We'll be testing it with our white 1.3 gain 120-inch Elite Screens projector screen, which did give us a really good image. But with the high light output of this projector, you might get even better results from an ALR screen. For testing, we connected the projector to our Emotiva RMC1, passing through the signal from our NVIDIA Shield Android TV box, which we'll be using to test since it gives a good reference point. We also tested physical media with our Sony UBP X800, and right off the bat, the first thing we noticed was the TK860i produced a very bright image with colors that really pop. In fact, I remember thinking that it felt more like I was watching a large panel LED TV rather than a projector. Even with a decent amount of ambient light hitting the white screen material, we still got a very good image with the default settings. And of course, this is one of the big selling points of this projector. You can basically use it in any space and it should be able to offer some pretty good light output. Unfortunately, with a white screen like ours, this does come at a cost of having pretty high black levels as well. But for a projector this bright, we feel like it all evens out. Another thing that I really like about BenQ projectors in general is the layout of their on-screen menu. The fact that BenQ offers a very complete set of options to get the projector looking exactly how you want it is a huge bonus, especially if you like playing with settings in order to get the best image possible. And speaking of image quality, well, it actually was really good. The projector resolved a lot of detail in fine textures even with HDR mode enabled, which came across bright enough to preserve shadow details even in dark scenes. We also felt like colors were very natural using the built-in living room preset, and I really didn't feel the need to make any changes to the out-of-box image settings. The reproduction of skin and skin tones was also very impressive, with no clear push towards green or magenta for both lighter and darker complexions. This was very evident in the finer details of Will Smith's face, where the clarity provided by the DLP chip really stood out here. So I guess the bottom line here is, as far as image quality goes, you get a really impressive image considering the price point BenQ is asking. We feel like the TK860 offers a really well-balanced picture and makes it perfect for a wide variety of rooms rather than being made exclusively for a home theater setup. Now, there are a couple things that we would have liked to have seen here, like more vertical lens shift and maybe even the addition of horizontal lens shift, which would have made setting up this projector a lot easier. But of course, these probably would have raised the price significantly. The inclusion of an electronic focus would have also been a really nice feature, since it can be kind of tedious trying to get the image dialed in using the manual zoom and focus knobs, and if you have the projector in a place where it could get bumped a lot, then you will be dealing with this a lot more than you'd think. But even with those little shortfalls, we're still really impressed with the experience offered by the BenQ TK860i. If you're looking for a solid little home theater projector that's bright enough for just about any room and has both the color and sharpness to actually give you an immersive movie experience. And as a nice little bonus, even though this isn't marketed as a gaming projector, we tested out some older retro games and newer games as well, and this projector still held its own. So we really think the versatility of this unit is one of its most impressive features. So if you're interested in checking out the TK860i, or any of the other projectors BenQ has to offer on their website, we'll be sure to leave a link down below. And with that said, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future content. And as always, have an awesome day.